What's up, YouTubers and vansters? Welcome to episode number 14 of my van build series. Today it's a little bit random again. I've got a few things going on. I was always hoping to kind of do one episode with one job, but some jobs just extend so long that I'll never be able to put out a video every week. So I'll just kind of show you where I'm at, what different jobs I've got going on at the moment. If you haven't yet done so, check out my other social media, Sherma_shoots at Instagram and at Facebook. Smash the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notifications when I post, and thanks so much for the support. Few random jobs again today. I am going to sand down the entire floor because I've gotten loads of mess now again from expanding foam, and I've bought a super heavy duty polyurethane paint. It's like a rubber paint which I'm going to coat the whole base floor in because I'm going to have a bilge, so basically like a double floor. This is going to be like the subfloor that you don't see anyway. I'm gonna have to order a little bit more of this paint to finish the whole area. I've just done a little test over here because I had another product on the wood before, so I just want to make sure that it's not going to react. I think that'll be a really good subfloor, and it'll just help to also waterproof everything. Sticks like rubber paint, so super happy with that. Kind of fill this little edge there so everything's flush, and what I've had to do is put a few other little pieces underneath to kind of raise some areas and lower a few other areas because it's not perfectly straight, the bottom of the tray, but that's pretty good. So once I glue that all in place, that should be fine. I'll waterproof it, I'll seal it all up with Seeker, and I'll paint it all, so that should be pretty solid. There we go, that's the shower frame built. I've just glued all the panels to the back and I can now stand in it. So that's pretty good. Just protected it with a bit of T-board so it doesn't get trashed. So what I've been doing to get my wood nicely cut and to get a nice clean edge is I've been scribing, and I've been using this T-board as a material to make some templates. So basically I get a piece of T-board and just keep tailoring it by scribing, so kind of by putting the material against the profile and then running a pen or a pencil along the edge until my template is just the right size. So the walls are getting there slowly. The seams, I've gotten most of it quite nice, but there's a few little gaps. So what I've done is I've just filled it with a bit of wood, put some angles here to keep it together, and then I'll put a bit of wood filler in there. And then what I plan to do in any case with the shower, I'm going to bought the system. It's like a waterproofing system. So the plywood's going to get waterproofed completely. And then on top of that, I'm going to put a waterproof hung and groove system. So it's going to have double water protection. So if there are a few little gaps, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to use my trusty old filler to fill up all these little gaps in preparation for the tanking system that's going to go on top. This is the tanking kit that I'm going to be using. I think I'm going to have to call it a day there because I need supplies. I've got a few jobs open and I'm stalled with all of them. One thing kind of relies on the other and I'm lacking supplies. But I'll show you where I'm at now, and then hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to complete one job, hopefully the shower or the wiring. Part of the shower is complete. I've sealed up the edges nicely with filler. I need to build a frame for the window, so I need to get more plywood. I need to get beams that go all the way to the ceiling. Then I I'll use a tanking kit to waterproof it. Started thinking about my worktop and the height of it. So I want 90 centimeters to be my worktop. So that's about over there. I'm going to be closing up with tongue and groove, and about halfway I'm going to be tiling just behind the work surface, kind of like a splashback. Closed up this little bit, just made it nice and tidy. This is going to be closed off cupboard space. Got a nice surface here to have a cupboard door or maybe a sliding door. What I'm going to do at the bottom here is I've just put ply there, but this is where the surfboard's going to run in. So I'm going to get some more of this rubber paint and paint this bottom section up to here with rubber paint all along there, and then the rest can just be tongue and groove. So I've just done a little test patch here, and the tongue and groove goes quite nicely. I've had to put another little piece of plywood over here just so it goes proud of these metal bit here at the top, and that looks pretty good. And I've just put one test panel up here just to make sure that we get a nice seam, which looks pretty good. I need to get some more Celotex. So I've got moisture barrier up there, then I've got a sheet of Celotex, and then what I'm going to do is standing foam into the gaps and then close everything off with a moisture barrier before I tongue groove the whole ceiling. Here I need to build a frame for the window before I can finish closing this off, and then once that's done, then I can start thinking about a shelf which is going to go up here, which is going to be designed to fit my equipment that I need to charge, so cameras, batteries, that sort of thing. So this is kind of going to be like my charging station. Once the electrics is done and once that shower is built, everything's going to be a lot easier and a lot quicker. The electrics, you want to make sure it's done correctly just to avoid any fire hazard, and the shower, obviously the problem there is water, so you also don't want to get any leaks. So those two things are really critical. The rest is pretty simple. It's just shelling everything in, and then I'm going to get a mate of mine hopefully to help me with a little bit of the carpentry with the cupboards and so on, and then it's just decorating. So it's just those two big jobs now ready to get out the way, and they're quite time consuming and they need a lot of thinking. So yeah, just kind of stuck with that at the moment, getting there slowly. Something else I started doing was just running a little bit of conduit. As you can see, it's just a really basic start, but just starting to try and define where I'm going to have all my lights and switches and all that sort of thing. Kind of starting to look like it's under construction. I was talking about different layers of insulation the other day. Basically here you can see I've got loads of insulation already. 2 boards of 25mm Celotex, earth wool, plastic insulation, metal foil over it, and there's absolutely no moisture on the surface. But if you look at the ceiling, here I've only got one sheet of the vapor barrier because I still need to run all the electrical cables, and once that's done I'll box it in with Celotex and foam and all that. But you can actually see here how there is moisture coming through. So it's quite interesting to see. I haven't started closing this up yet in here because it's still moist in there, and I've actually been running a dehumidifier in here at night. I've also gotten loads of these little damp traps that I've just put all around the van, also in the front cab, just to try and absorb some of the moisture that gets in here. We're in England, it's winter, so it's gonna be wet. No way around that really. That's it. Cheers. Hello. So I've been doing bits and pieces in the van, but what I really need to do now is define my electrics. That's what I'm doing tonight. A little bit of office work. So I'm just on eBay at the moment getting a few things ordered. I actually had a friend who's doing a very similar conversion and who's also an electrician give me his wiring diagram. So I'm using that as a starting point to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with mine, because I'm really not that good with electrics. Once I actually start putting all the components together, I'll show that in a lot more detail. I'm going to have 3 100-watt solar panels, and I'm going for monocrystalline panels, rigid ones. I just need to do a little bit more research to decide exactly which ones I'm going to go for. Definitely going to go for good quality ones. Everything's relying on those really to make this an off-grid success. Everything's going to be running off 12 volts. The light, fridge, the cooker, the heater, the water pump. The only thing that I need the inverter for is when you're charging your computer and your camera equipment. You don't want to be doing that off 12 volts. It's just better for the equipment. As I'm going to be doing a lot of computer work and I'm going to be doing my photography, you know, you need to look after your kit. With electrics, you know, it's not going to be the cheapest thing, but you want to buy better quality, spend a bit more money, buy right, and avoid headaches later down the road. I've already been involved with one fire in my life, which nearly took my life, probably because of an electrical fire. So I would never forgive myself if I build a van that's not electrically safe and somehow something catches fire or starts sizzling away. So I'm putting a bit of extra money down, just getting good kit and taking my time just to make sure that everything's correct, everything's wired up correctly, everything's isolated, everything's on a switch, on a shut-off switch, so you can turn it off. So that's most of the electrics now ordered. That's taken me to £550, and it doesn't yet include my 2 leisure batteries that I'm going for and the solar panels. So there's still a few big items to come. Probably gonna take me up to £1,000, but you know, it's gonna be all off grid and it's gonna be worth it in the end. So it is what it is. Exciting stuff. Dun, dun, dun. Ah.